Welcome back, everybody. I hope you are all having a fantastic day so far. My name is Tyler Wiebe. I am the owner here at Tyler Wiebe Fitness. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Here we just take all of the information that is out there in the fitness industry, bring it here, break it down in 10 minutes or less so that you are able to take this advice, these steps, apply them to your own fitness journey and get the physique you've always wanted. If you are a returning watcher, I do appreciate it. Thank you for support. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. And we are going to be talking about how do we stay lean after the diet. So last couple videos I went through how to find your starting macros, how to make adjustments for fat loss, and what foods to eat. You can check those out in the description because this does kind of build upon those videos, because guess what? A diet is only going to be a finite amount of time. It is going to end at some point. And so one of the most important things is to have a plan for after the diet. And a lot of people are a little unsure of what to do. And this is something that I work through a lot with my clients, and it's probably one of the hardest parts of dieting. Now, we've all been through a diet. You'll go, 10 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds. We've most likely, if you're watching this, has been through a diet at some point. And if we can trust the data, which I do think we can, you're probably also one of those people that once they were done with their diet, were a little unsure what to do, and we went right back to our old eating habits and most likely gained a lot of the weight that we lost back. So don't worry, this is a very, very normal thing for a lot of people to go through, and we are gonna solve that problem here today. Okay, so keep watching. So the biggest thing that we want to be aware of when we are coming out of a diet is where our current calories are at, current cardio, and then that'll give us a sense of where our metabolism is at. So when we diet, our metabolism is going to adapt downwards to the amount of food that we were doing and the amount of cardio that we are doing. So essentially what that means is that eventually, as you are dieting and losing weight, those calories, that amount of activity that you are doing, are going to become your maintenance calories. Yes, the body is very adaptable, and so it will adapt downwards. And so that's why we have to always continue to reduce our calories and up our activity as we diet, because of that adaptation. So what happens is that when someone is done with a diet, their metabolism has adapted downwards. And when they go back to their normal eating habits, so let's say 1,500 calories, you ended your diet, and now you're going back to 2,500, 2,000 calories all of a sudden. Well, guess what? Because of that adaptation, your body is going to store body fat quite rapidly. That's its goal. It is trying to put body fat back on. You could thank billions of years of evolution for that. So without that plan, that's where we have this body fat regain problem. Well, thankfully there is a solution to that, and we can work on increasing our calories, reducing our levels of activity while still maintaining a certain level of leanness. Now, it probably should come with the caveat that you are going to gain a little bit of body fat back no matter what. And we need to realize that this is a good thing. Body fat, as long as it's not way too much, is actually very, very healthy for the body. And so we always do want to make sure that we have some body fat, and gaining a little bit back from a diet isn't the worst thing. But we do want to minimize it as much as possible because we want to stay that lean. We don't want all of that hard work to just go away and be for nothing. But we also need to put ourselves back into a position where we can build muscle and we can live a normal life again, because dieting can take away a lot of that. So what I always like to do, for the most part, there's always different contexts and different scenarios, but I always like to try and bring that client back up to their maintenance calories as quickly as possible while still minimizing the amount of body fat that we gain. So typically what that is going to look like is after the diet, you do want to initially add in some extra calories, mainly in the way of carbohydrates, because that's what's going to help continue to fuel your workouts. It's going to make you feel much better. It's going to open up how much and what type of foods that you're able to eat and start that path to returning to normalcy, okay? So it is going to be a little bit different for everyone depending on how much muscle you have, your current activity levels, etc. But I really do kind of like to do an initial anywhere from 30 to 50, maybe a little bit more grams of carbs right off the bat. Typically, that's going to be enough to help that person start to feel a little bit better, feel like they are eating a little bit more food. Their workouts are going to improve, their physique is going to improve as their body fills back up with carbohydrates, aka glycogen, and now we've started this process. And we are doing a minimal amount because what this is also going to allow is for the metabolism to start to catch up and start to build back up to that amount of food. So if we can do minimal amounts of adding in food, what this essentially does is allows the metabolism to kind of adapt back up as we go along with minimizing the body fat regain. So we do want to take a little bit slower and be a little bit more patient as we go along with our additions of food. So if you remember with dieting, we are looking at reducing calories, and around 20% every time we make a cut. For the reverse, we're gonna be a lot less aggressive as we go along. Initially, you can probably get away with being a bit more aggressive because you're gonna have an initial uptick in the metabolism. You're probably gonna have some better workouts due to the higher carbohydrate intake, better recovery. And so your output might actually go up at the beginning. So you can play with that, but like I said, I would recommend anywhere from 30 to 50, 60 grams of carbs right away. From there, you're just going to monitor your weight, your body composition, and your waist. And again, like I said, we're gonna take our time and be patient with it. After that initial intake, what I recommend is upping your food intake roughly every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on what's happening on the scale and on your body composition. If you continue to lose weight, well, guess what? You could probably be a little bit more aggressive and continue to add in every 2 to 3 weeks, 20 to 30, 40 grams of carbs right in that range. Again, you're gonna wanna know your body, and sometimes it is nicer to be on the more conservative side because it's a lot easier to add in food than to take away food. And then as you go along, we just continue this process. We watch our weight, we watch our body composition, and we add accordingly if we're losing, maintaining, or gaining, depending on what your goal is. But the initial goal should always be to get back to maintenance where you are holding steady, your recovery is high, your energy is high, and you're having really good workouts. From there, that's where you can really go, okay, now I want to go into a gaining phase, add in about 15% calories on top of your maintenance, and that should put you right in a spot where you're able to really gain some quality muscle. If you just want to maintain for a little bit, then that is great. Well, you can just sit there and enjoy your maintenance. I certainly would not recommend going back downwards into a deficit because it is going to take a little bit of time for your body to fully recover. So that's the food, okay? So initially 30 to 60 grams of carbs, monitor everything every 2 to 4 weeks, and start to add in more carbohydrates as you go along. Fats continue to keep around 20% of total calories. I really like operating a lot of my clients at around the 60 to 70 grams of fat. For the most part, for most people, that is going to be appropriate. For your activity levels, we do again also want to make sure that we are dropping that incrementally as we go along and not just a massive drop because again, the metabolism has adapted and so we need to now adapt it back downwards. Here, roughly 15 to 20% reduction in cardio every other week, once a week, again, depending on how your body is reacting to the extra food and to that recovery process. But again, we do want to make sure that we get our cardio back down to a more minimal level, around 3 days a week. About 20 to 30 minutes is quite minimal, at least on the treadmill in the gym. This is not talking about activity outside of the gym. So this is going to be a fantastic way for you to really minimize the amount of body fat that you are going to regain post-diet. That is going to be all, everybody. Thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button so you're not missing out on any future content. Drop a question down below if you do have your questions. I can answer these in future videos. And as always, feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions about your own journey. That's going to be everything for today, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and we will chat next time.